what you want? And are you getting what you need?
Hello, No Means Nerds. We're back. It's no means no thing. No means nothing. We refuse to decide which way that goes. Maybe you can help us decide which you prefer. Nope, we're just going to keep it ambiguous, I think. I'm
Yeah,
one of your hosts,
we do too
Jordon.
much deciding. Too much deciding already.
We do. Yeah, exactly. I'm Jordon.
Matthew.
Michelle.
Excellent. We're back. It's a little behind the curtain. It's been a while since we've recorded, so I'm stoked to do this.
Yeah, in the time warp of recording and then releasing, we haven't recorded for 4 weeks. I think it was June 6th.
Because of the goddamn heat wave.
Episode 14.
Yeah,
this is
pretty
episode
bad.
15. It is July 13th today. So it's been a long time. Hi guys.
Yep. Hey, so it's good to be back. I've been missing it for fuck's sake. So yeah, I'm ready.
And then this
But
won't be
before
released until like the end of August or something.
Yeah, exactly. It may even already be fall before you fuckers hear this. Actually, I guess it won't. It's only two ahead.
You know, this is the first time you brought up the date that we recorded, so everybody's going to know, like, how far
how the
away
sausage
the
gets made.
recording is.
Oh no.
Maybe so.
Well,
Peek behind my curtain.
That's no, thank you. So
I'm going to open my kimono.
no, please,
Oh,
please.
okay.
I'm desperate now to just know what you're drinking. I'm gonna start because I'm super ass boring. My wife crawled out of bed at 3:00 this morning to get on a plane to New York, and I could not fall asleep after that. So I'm tired as fuck, and so I've got some piping hot coffee for my interesting drink, so that I don't fall a fucking asleep on the microphone. So that's how boring I am. I didn't even put anything in it. I thought about it, but I didn't. So I'm boring. Let's go with Michelle. What you got for us?
You know, you should really get, instead of like angels singing, you should get harps playing for that, being that it's Guinness.
Oh, gling, 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 gling,
Yeah, there
gling,
you
gling, gling.
Well, you got piping hot coffee, Jordan. I am in a piping hot garage, so I have a great big glass of ice water, although I do have...
Oh my God, am I the only alcoholic?
No.
I think he's about to bust out his choices.
All right.
Well, I felt kind of bad a couple episodes ago where I kind of did a bait and switch on the Longbow chocolate porter. So
you did.
Yeah. So I got that one. And I have also from Victoria, the Hoyne Dark Matter, which I believe has shown up before on this podcast.
It has, yes. I'm familiar with that one.
And then
Dark Matter.
I got this one. I wanted to get, this is mostly to get a strange reaction. I have the White Peach Goes.
Oh, but it's got octopuses on it.
Yeah, it's got an octopus on it, which is pretty cool. You can't fault the octopus. I did want the passion fruit goes, but I grabbed the wrong. But the reason, I know Michelle doesn't like the very existence of this, but this is from
I like peaches.
Townsite Brewing, which is a brewery in Powell River, British Columbia.
Oh. Well, there you go.
You might have to have that one. It might be the peachy.
Well, that sounds good as hell and really refreshing on a hot day, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm leaning towards that one.
Yeah.
You know, on a different tip,
I'm voting
I'm always
peach.
telling you guys about my weird berries and such.
Look at those. Are those blackberries?
No, they're not.
Yeah.
These are
Boysenberries?
Raspberries?
No, this is the one where the monkey chased the weasel around. These are mulberries.
Mulberries?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. I have never actually seen a real mulberry.
They look like they're in the raspberry family. I guess they are.
They're actually more closely related to like breadfruit and shit like that.
My mouth just filled up with saliva when I saw you bite into that like it was sour or something.
Oh, they're sweet and juicy.
Somewhere
like
there's
that.
some mulberry beer waiting for you to bring it onto the podcast.
Oh, they taste like wine. They're really rich and nice and juicy.
Nice.
Wow.
Well, I'm voting peach. I think
Me
that
too.
sounds.
Right.
That sounds nice and refreshing on a hot day.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that because it is 32 degrees in here. That is 475
That's
for the American
freezing.
listeners.
That's
Yeah,
freezing.
exactly. Yeah. Oh God, we fucking Americans are so dumb. We're such
We're
dumbasses.
ignorant. We're
fucking
ignorant.
hate it. I hate it.
How is
All
it?
right.
Peachy? Let's have a taste test.
What's the
nice.
what's the verdict?
Goes are it's kind of a little yeasty, not too hoppy. Just it's like drinking lemonade. It's tasty.
Oh,
Thank
all
you.
right. Yeah,
And the
like I
advantage
thought,
of this
nice and
is that
refreshing.
it's in a can, so I maybe get to have another one.
Ooh, nice. I'm sure it's not as high alcohol content as the last one we made you drink, which was an obscenely,
Oh my god.
excuse me, high
Still feeling that
alcohol
one.
content.
It's over
You
there.
were very drunk by the end of that episode, which I
It was
a
great.
big fan of, but I don't want to do that to you every episode. We'll save that every 2 or 3. We'll throw that at you maybe, but
Yeah. No,
So-
I'm basically drinking a bottle of wine in an hour, and that is
We should have a different person get sloshed every week.
exactly.
No, I can't. I won't. I can't
One of
do it.
one of these episodes, I'm gonna have to smoke a bunch of weed and see if I can record. I don't think it'll work, but
yeah. No,
we'll see how that goes.
No, the gummies are on different.
I don't think
things
I don't.
too.
Yeah. Me too. Well, listen. I hope everyone out there, those that can anyway, are cracking open something. I hope you got something interesting. We've been hearing a lot of really great examples of shit you guys have been cracking open. We love it. So why don't you do that now? And we're going to introduce you to the first pairing of tonight. We've got 2 songs that are actually really close together in release time on the catalog. Both songs on what I would call secondary releases. These are not primary album songs.
Mm-hmm.
My little catchphrase, what an interesting matchup. But again,
Yeah.
that's always going to be true. Someday it won't, but I'll say it anyway. So we start off with I'm Doing Well off of Mr. Right and Mr. Wrong, 1 Down 2 to Go, the compilation, 1994, versus Rise off of Would We Be Alive EP, 1996. So a couple years apart, 2 sort of off the beaten path releases. Some folks I know are going to be going right now like, what are those fucking songs, right? Like you may not everybody may be super familiar with these. So if you haven't heard them, dig them up. They're on YouTube, I'm sure, and hopefully these will be part of the big re-release, but they're both worth a listen for sure. So let's dive in. Tonight, Matthew's going to start on this first pairing, and then I'll go, and then Michelle. But before we let Matthew expound on and we see how he's doing, we're going to listen to a bit of Rob.
Out of a clear blue sky, I hear the ringing of the bells into the belly of hell. I'm doing well, I'm doing well. I buy cheap, sell dear. Just keep it simple, keep it clear. I got a product to sell. I'm doing well, I'm doing well. 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 I'm doing
All right,
well,
Matthew.
I'm doing well.
Hit us.
I don't remember because this CD unfortunately is the only one that I cannot find. It's around somewhere. It was in the car. We brought the car to be crushed into a cube, and the CD is probably in the box that we took out of the car, and it's in the basement somewhere. And I hope it didn't get crushed into a
Oh,
cube.
I thought you were
Well, I
going
thought you were going to say it's in the cube of the car.
I don't know. It may be. I hope it's not. But I can check whether this is sort of considered a Mr. Wrong song or not, because it's just Rob.
It doesn't label it that way, but I mean, for fuck's sake, I would back that notion 1000%.
Yeah. No, it's Blind Lemon Robbie doing his 8-bar thing. It's him and an acoustic guitar, and
Blind Lemon Robbie. I just got that.
there's a sound effect go through the whole thing, which I think is actually really cool. It's like a sound of falling water, and I sort of envision him sitting on a porch and the rain coming down. And he's just wailing away with his 8-bar blues somewhere in the world. Maybe the Bayou, maybe the Sunshine Coast. Who knows? The Sunshine Coast is kind of ironically named, by the way. But yeah, sitting on a porch during a rainstorm. I couldn't turn up a previous version of this because it sounds like something that might have been covered, but I think it isn't. I think it's an original, which is
Yeah,
pretty cool 'cause
I was
Yeah.
wondering too because it's
Same.
that
I went
good.
down that rabbit hole, and there's
Yep.
there's no evidence that this is a cover.
yeah.
Wow.
So I think it's pretty simple. It's to me, it's success. A guy talking about in the inevitable fall that he did a bunch of stuff to be successful and then was less successful. But he said he did everything. I think the sort of telling line is, "I followed all the golden rules. Do you smell what I smell?" That maybe he didn't follow all those rules. And what did I say as I fell? So he had some success, and he's sitting on his porch, and after a rise and a fall, he's doing well. And it's a relaxing song. It transports me, and I kind of want to learn to play acoustic guitar and sit on a rainy porch myself. So not much to say, but yeah, there you go.
That's great. I mean, I'm right with you on all that. I mean, first of all, it's great to be reminded of how fucking great Rob's guitar chops are. It's tight.
Mhm.
He's tight as fuck on this, and it's great knowing that this is an original piece, super bluesy. I mean, it's daring necessarily, but it's super tight, and I love it. I mean, this is a great companion piece to Sitting on Top of the World and End of the World, all those other Mr. Wrong pieces. Has to be one of the ones he played when he would play as Mr. Wrong. I mean, I know, Matthew, you said you've seen some of those shows.
Yeah, I don't
Anybody else
remember,
out there?
Yeah, I wish
Anybody
I
else
did.
out there who might remember? Like, let us know. Hit us up in one of those socials. Let us know if you remember him playing this. But he had to have. I can't. This is clearly all Rob all the time. I
Mhm.
love that sound effect. I love the rain. I think a porch is a good notion. For some reason, I kind of felt, I always pictured someone sitting under an overpass, like in a big rainstorm, just kind of sitting in in some dingy underpass. But it's the same sort of thing. It adds a lot to it. And one of the reasons I felt that is at the end, I get that the rain sound of when cars pass through rain puddles. It's not just straight rain all the time. There's that sound of how there's a car passing through big, gutters of rain puddles. And yeah, I think it's not a super complex song lyrically, but really great. This is sort of like a blues song from Alec Baldwin of Glengarry Glen Ross.
Yeah.
Just sort of that sort of like an asshole. Like what I really get from this song is it's somebody who is well within social norms, someone who is, quote unquote, as you said, following all the golden rules, bit off what they can chew, right? He's subverting this kind of notion of like, oh, here's an asshole who's bilking everybody. He's like, no, I'm doing everything I should, but I'm still a fucking asshole. I'm still I'm on that side of the capitalist ledger sheet that takes advantage of everybody and makes me a huge fucking leech asshole. And
He
so
dipped his bucket in the well.
In there, does he?
He took what there was to take.
he takes what he's going to take, and he's doing well. He's very successful.
He didn't take too much. He shared it, didn't he?
He doesn't say anything about Sharon. Absolutely not.
It's what I feel.
No. Well, I want to hear your take.
Yeah.
No.
I think because this guy's talking about going straight to hell. Like this is a fall. This is a song about a fall. This is a song about losing your soul. It's not a song about actually doing well. He's doing well, but then he's going straight to the belly of hell. Do you smell what I smell? Which to me is like brimstone or something, right? Like I don't know. To me, it feels like it's one of those characters that's, this is not a savory guy, but it's someone who's
his soul.
Yeah, but he's working within the rules. He's not, he didn't make the rules. He's just working them.
Right.
But and Rob's delivery on this is it's fucking great. It's just so fucking great. I really think this is a great song. I'm really glad they put it on that album. It does absolutely feel like a Mr. Wrong song. I don't think it's got No Means No fingerprints. My levels are a little bit high, so
I can't read that because it was backwards.
I wish I were a little bit high, but I'm not. So I'm going to turn down my gain a little bit.
Nice one.
And we'll see how that
Why
goes.
did I see that backwards?
Because he has his zoom setting set to reverse
Canadian?
to mirror it. Yeah, it's Canadian.
Oh, it's
so
a Canadian
I'm not
Yeah,
taking my gain down any lower than that.
It's metric.
Yeah, metric exactly. So yeah, that's what I got to say about that song. What about you, Michelle? Where you fall?
Haha, Rob sitting out on the porch in Memphis. I wrote he was sitting on the porch too, drinking a lemonade. And I'm sitting next to him in my rocking chair, petting the dog. And this is all after we've made sweet love. This is quite a departure from our angry, priesty Rob who's pissed off. And this song is so quaint, I can't stand it. Completely stripped down. It's just glorious to listen to. A fantastic blues homage. I love the raindrops in the background, and whoever thought to put that in there is a fucking genius. Love this song.
Excellent.
Very calming and relaxing and
It
lovely.
is.
Yeah.
It is. I agree. It's it's pleasant as hell to listen to. This song,
Yeah.
for sure. He's got tight fucking little fingers on that guitar.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Did you do that the same time I
We
did?
I wonder if we were in time.
Oh,
Probably not.
Simultaneous
God.
beat-it-oops.
we
And
did
watch
it.
out.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Now let's switch the tone up quite a bit. 180 might not even be enough, and we're going to talk about Rise off Would We Be Alive. So before we rise to that occasion, let's hear a bit of this song.
Who's on the bottom? Who's on top?
Who's on the
Who's
bottom?
on the bottom?
Who's on top?
Who's on top?
Who's on the bottom? And who's on top? Rise and sin no more. Rise and sin no more. Bound and gagged, we'll walk together through the halls and the lofty colonnade.
All right, Matthew, look this up. What you got?
All right, so yeah, this is one of 4 songs, and it is I feel is a bit of a unique addition to their list, to their acumen. If you wanted to indoctrinate a Tool fan into No Means No, this might be a good place to start, because it's like it's very, very 90s. I say that before, and I don't mean it is a bad thing at all, but it's basically like when Jawbox met Clutch. It's like it's probably the metaliest No Means No song that I can think of. Sort of a lot of almost kind of stereotyped metally things in it, chuggy guitar, and it's all bluesy metal almost. But yeah, it's the more melodic, kind of ethereal parts in the choruses, which remind me a little bit more of sort of more post punk stuff like Jawbox, and Jawbox, one of my favorite bands. So it's I'm not dissing them at all. And I kind of forgot about Clutch. I used to really like Clutch, but this song kind of reminds me of the song called Burning Beard in a way. But again, it's been a long time since I heard that, so it may be similar to my memory of Burning Beard and not actually be similar to Burning Beard at all. Hey, religious theme, absolution and forgiveness. So yeah, when he says never stop, I like how it all slows down, and we're all still writhing. A song about transcendence, but there is no transcendence, or there's transcendence for a very, very few. No exaltation without devastation of many. You have to walk on the backs of the scum and the writhing bodies in order to walk down the halls and the colonnades and all that kind of stuff. So it's very, to me, right in Rob's wheelhouse about sort of the plebes and the fascists and the authoritarian kind of feelings.
Plebe?
Yeah, like plebeians, like the rabble,
Yeah.
I have no
the
idea what you
unwashed
even said.
masses.
Oh, there's some lovely
Okay.
filth down here.
No, Dennis.
I love the radio sounding voice in the background. I think that's John. And
Oh, I think so too. Yeah,
Who's
yeah, yeah.
on the bottom?
who's on top. So yeah, it's a song about sex, about dominance, about heaven and hell, and maybe things switch around from time to time. The maybe the Nazis, they were walking down the halls and looking at the pictures on the walls, and then they didn't stay up there very long. It's interesting. What else have I got to say here? Oh yeah, the bound and gagged, we walk together, sort of the complicit, and you're almost captive in your exaltation. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot more to say. Oh yeah, it just reminded me of a line that I really like from Rich Gunn's, the chairs on which we sit are made of human bone. I think I might have brought that one up before because it's one of my favorite No Means No lines. But
yeah, it's great.
Not my favorite.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite No Means No songs, but I liked it better. I don't think I really noticed it that much before because I kind of forgot about this EP for a long time, and it doesn't really fit. So I'm actually kind of glad that it isn't on an album, that it's on the EP by itself, because I think it's better appreciated on its own, because it is unlike so many of other songs. Yeah. So yeah, that's about it.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what you were talking about there, man. And I found when I was listening to this song for this episode, which I think I listened to this song more for this episode than I ever had before, even though I had listened to it before and appreciated it, works 100 times better for me on headphones. There's some great production in there, some really subtle vocal work going on very quietly behind Rob's main vocal work. And the guitars are deeply layered. There's several layers of guitars going on. I just picked up a lot more subtleties on the headphones, even when I was in my car with a good sound system blasting it. It's got a lot going on. It's a lot more layered than I had thought. And lyrically, yeah, for me, I think all the themes you talked about are spot on, more or less. This song is one of their harder for me to pin down. It could also be because I haven't spent as much time kind of just mulling it over in my head, but certainly the two great pillars of themes of sex and religion, right? I mean, rise and sin no more, one of the Jesus fella's famous sayings is go and sin no more. So I was trying to puzzle over the alteration of that phrase to rise and sin no more, right? Like what's the significance of changing go, which is the real common translation of that phrase, to rise, and also how I love these like subtle changes they make verse to verse in all these songs. They have the see the bodies fly, see the bodies ride, and see the bodies fall. So there's this arc of what happens to the bodies, of how it starts very high and then it's very earthbound with ride, and then it's fall. So there's this arc of sort of starting very lofty and then crashing down to earth.
It's an erection, because you said it was like sex too.
Well,
so
I was going to say that there's 100%. Like there are.
I was kidding. But
no. There are times I listen to this song and I 100% think it's an entirely a sexual innuendo front to back. Meaning
wiggly.
There is no other meaning. There's no other. Every line you can read pretty much as just sexual innuendo, and both things can be true, right? Like that knowing Rob, that he could absolutely have written it that way so that it's very ambiguous.
He has a flying penis.
There's a shit ton in there about between your belly, in between your thighs, the whole thing. It's just.
I heard that.
Yeah, I heard that. There's sexual innuendo all over the fucking place. So, but I'm not gonna. I 100% can't pin this one down for myself. And also, I will be shamed to admit. I don't know if this is a shame because this is not 100% true, but there are times I listen to this song where it almost feels like a subtle No Means No parody, like they're taking the piss a bit, and not in a bad way. But like, especially when John comes in with
out
that,
of themselves.
Yeah. Where he that part where John comes in with the who's on the bottom. It's so fucking goofy in the best way, but it's so fucking goofy.
Yeah, that's like the only element of humor that I could sort of detect.
But it's so like goofy in the middle of this earnestness that it just makes it feel like, are you guys in a really fun way sort of just taking the piss and trying to make me take the song really seriously when it's really just about someone's dick? Like I think it's much more subtle than
Oh
that,
my
but
God.
there are times, honestly, where I've listened to this over the years. I've gone, I think they're having a shit ton of fun, kind of going, these guys are gonna fucking take this so seriously, but it's just a
It's
it's a
a
fucking joke.
dick song.
But to the music, yes, 90s metal all the fucking way. I love the music to the song. I think it's fucking great. It's crunchy, it's anthemic, it's
Yeah.
got this kind of metal arena feel to it.
And
Like
like
I said,
totally
when I put the
Sabbath towards the end there.
yeah, and when I put the headphones on, the guitars are really layered, and just the gung, 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 and the pauses, and just it's just crunchy and fucking like metal granola. I just love it.
Your fucking
And
face.
give me a fucking break. Rob's vocal delivery, holy shit!
Oh,
Yep.
His
the
gurgly
lunatic at the
screams.
end. Yeah.
His gurgly screams when he's just like, "Rrrr." I can't. That's like fucking Grover on a. I don't know
You
what the
did sound
fuck,
like Grover.
but it's genius. It's juicy. And listen, I'm sure I'm not every fan out there listening would agree with me, but we need to be hailing Rob as much as a genius vocalist as we do for his bass playing and songwriting. He is so fucking good on the vocals and songs
He's
like
channeling
this.
some shit, man.
Songs like this
He's
that are,
treading like a
for
fuzzy
many
blue monster.
that many might just be kind of a throwaway song. Like he fucking leans into this 8,000%. And Michelle, you've said this before, but I wanted, like, this is one of those songs where I'm like, I want there to be a fucking video of him recording this
Oh,
in the
yeah.
sound booth. I want to see that fucker sing this because that is so good. I
How do
saw
you-
this. I saw this tour when they toured with this EP. I'm sure they played this, but I cannot remember it because part of it for me is whenever they would play new songs, which this would have been a new song for them at that point, and we wouldn't have heard it yet. They're hard for me to remember live because I don't have the memory of having seen them a million times or heard it a million times, and so I don't have that recognition. I remember them playing Our Town during that tour and being like, "What the fuck song is this?" And I do
Right.
remember that because that hadn't been out yet. That one wasn't out then for another 4 years, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't remember this one. But I wish I did because I think this would have been hella fun live. Yeah.
I don't know if he'd have to wait until the end to sing this one because his voice would just be blown out.
Maybe,
with the
but
screaming he's doing.
he's
Yeah.
fucking good at it, man.
It's frightening.
But Michelle, that we got to now hear your thoughts on this fucker.
My first sentence I wrote down, Jesus, this sounds like Nirvana. And that's not a bad thing. I
love
love
Nirvana,
Nirvana.
I know that.
Oh, I love
too.
Kurt Cobain so much. I love Kurt Cobain so much. Oh my God. It's not even funny. I gotta admit, at the beginning, the lazy vocals, they don't really do much for me, but they do recuperate a bit once they get more into it, as you've spoken about. And there's some fantastic sections with senses of urgency and fear. The who's on the bottom, who's on the top part is great, and all the music around that is fantastic. Tom's playing some really cool interchanging guitar screams in there, and it's really, really good stuff. The lyrics in there are reminiscent of like the song "Who Fucked Who," which is fucking stellar. I
Oh,
can't wait to get
Jesus.
to that.
Me too.
But it's
Jesus
they're
Christ.
always asking who's getting fucked, me or you. Like that's
Yeah,
always
right.
kind of the question. And I think there's some other songs where I can't remember. I think there's one or two more where they question like who's getting it or taken advantage of or blah blah blah. I can't remember. Total Sludge Festival, and this one and its slow build up is epic and worth the wait.
Nice. I agree. It's got a great fucking build, this song.
Yep.
And I love it when they do that. I love it when they don't pussy out and they just go straight for it. And they just give you that nice crunchy build and beat drop that you're looking for.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, I guess we've all had our say. It's time to vote on these two suckers. So we've got I'm
These
Doing
are
Well.
complete opposite.
Oh,
They
Jesus.
are,
aren't they? I
in
mean,
this
holy
corner, we've got I'm Doing Well, Mr. Wrong sitting there in his priest uniform. And in that corner, we've got Mr. Wrong in his priest uniform surrounded by his minions. So, Matthew, who you going for?
I think I really like them both. I probably would have shit canned Rise before, but I listened to this one a lot. And I think that little observation that you had about, because I wrote, there doesn't seem to be any humor in it. And then I'm like, yeah, that John voice is pretty funny. And maybe they are taking the piss. And that makes me like it, 300 times better. So because I'm doing well, as pleasant as it is and everything, it's just Rob and with
Just Rob. How dare you?
but Tom's guitars and everything like that make me Rise is just my choice this time. Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, I love I'm Doing Well. I do feel like it is not as much of a No Means No song because it is just Rob, but even just Rob is fucking phenomenal. But
Right.
it's kind of in a different universe, whereas Rise is all of them. I don't know that Rise would win against a lot of other songs, so it might
Yeah.
have picked a fortunate pair. But I do love it, and as with many songs that we've covered on this podcast, I have even more appreciation for it now than I did before. This will be on rotation for me. But for me, it's Rise. Michelle.
Wow. Well, I'll thrice it. I'll thrice the
Thrice!
rise. I'll
Thrice
thrice the
great
rise.
Rise. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
listen, no offense, I'm Doing Well. You're a great fucking song.
I love it.
You're not going down in defeat, but
It's like No Means No for your parents, you know?
Despite the fact that yeah, that's true.
it really is. My dad's a blues
but not,
fucking whore.
not
so
in a
he
bad
would've-
way, though. I mean,
I should play
Yes.
this for him. He'd probably love it.
No, not in a bad way. I don't
No,
want
I
to call
hear
it
you.
like
No.
parents. It's just
we
like
didn't
you
choose
gotta
him.
work your way into it, and then get to the,
Yeah.
We didn't choose him, but he's
shit.
doing well. He's on his porch
Yeah.
somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, with
Well,
his lemonade.
Our first pairing was one of unanimity. We'll see if that carries forward in round two. But before we get to round two, dear listeners, you're now used to getting to hear one of your own voices, someone from the community who's going to pop in and who's going to tell us a little something. And Matthew, will you remind everyone before I say who's gonna do this? What we'd like people to send in to us. Let's remind people what we're looking for.
Yeah, so please send your submissions to no means nothing podcast at gmail.com. We
Yeah,
asked
Jordon.
three questions. What is your no means no origin story? What does no means no mean to you? And if you got one, kind of a personal no means no story. And if you could send those to the Gmail, or let us know if you throw them into Dropbox or something like that. And please feel free to, if you need any technical suggestions, just give us a dingle and we'll see if we can help you out with that. And if you want to write it out and have us read it, you can do that too. And please let us know that is what you want us to do, and maybe even who you want to read it. So there you go. And thank you all for your submissions. They're rolling in these days. And please don't feel discouraged if you don't hear it. If it seems like a really long time since you send it in, it probably has been and probably will be, because there are quite a few to get through, and we release only every 2 weeks and 3 songs per person. So yeah, don't get discouraged. They will all appear eventually.
Yeah, one way or another, all of these are going to get heard. Believe me. So, and speaking of which, tonight we're actually going to put in the first recording we received, which we have not put in yet for some stupid fucking reason. But
Oh
Chuck,
my God.
Chuck Wood,
Someone who
friend of
has
the
just
podcast.
hurt himself chugging around his room playing air guitar when Rise got advanced.
That's right. Chuck,
You okay,
just so
man?
you know,
Yeah.
I
Right.
think it was this very day today, or maybe it was yesterday, when we saw you commenting on Rise on our little Facebook group. So it was well timed. So that one's for you, buddy. And let's listen
Yeah.
to Chuck tell us about the first time he heard that seminal album, Wrong. Take it away, Chuck.
Oh, Chucky boy.
Goddamn fucking planes. Okay, so this is my story of the day I bought Wrong. Like literally the day it came out. I had pre-purchased the record, and I got off from work the day it came out. I went to the record store that I pre-purchased it from, got said record, joyfully sprinted home, put the record on, very, very loud, got in the shower. About halfway through my shower was like, what is going on out there? Rinsed off, turned the shower off, got out, turned the volume down on the stereo, and there were 2 police officers beating the shit out of my door with batons because of upwards of 8 complaints about excessively loud music. So that was the day I first heard wrong.
All right. Thank you, Chuck. And thank you, everyone else, for all the submissions. As Matthew said, they are rolling in, which is fucking thrilling. And we've got some great international ones. Keep them going, folks. They're fantastic. We love to hear them, and we think you guys do too.
How much wrong could a woodchuck chuck if Chuckwood could chuck wrong?
Nice.
And what Jordan means by
I said
international is not Canadian or American.
Not Canadian or American. That's right. Non-North American. Still waiting on you, Seychelles and Iran and Korea. So let's
U.S. minor outlying islands.
Yes, whatever. That
And
means.
for Brad and Carl, yeah, we have just so you know, Palmyra is in the room.
Nice.
Palmyra? Where's that?
Palmyra.
Boom, 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 bow, bow.
Nice.
My heart's on fire for Palmyra.
Palmyra. I don't know what that is, but all right.
Oh, what was that band? Oh, it was so bad.
I can't even fucking remember, but it was bad shit.
I have no
now
idea
it's
what
gonna
either of you
bother
are
me.
doing.
Good. But from that,
I gotta Google it. Or I
you
won't be able
Google
to
it
stop
and
thinking about it.
just fucking bust out
Jesus
whenever you find it.
Christ.
We're gonna move on to round 2. Our contestants are entering the ring. In this corner, Tuck It Away, off of Worldhood of the World as Such, 1995. Up against, in the other corner, I Can't Stop Talking, from Dance of the Headless Bourgeoisie,
The Oak Ridge Boys.
1998.
Sorry. Oak Ridge Boys.
Again, we are fully post-Andy era here, and another 2 songs that are very close in time. As a matter of fact, no, not as close in time, but close as the other pairing. So that's kind of interesting. All right, so we're going to start with Tuck It Away, and Michelle, this time you get to start us off. Regale us. Wait, before we do, let's tuck into a little bit of this song.
Here we go with a kick-ass, fun, tight, fun stuff. Yeah. I actually did write all that down. Just so I can remember to say yeah. Anyways. Oh, yeah. This has a huge overtone. It has huge overtones of the Hanson brothers. Am I right? Yes? John really has a great voice. And like you two have said, it would have been cool to hear him sing more. There's really great interludes where their No Means No pokes through the Hanson vibe. And I guess it's in the bridge section right before that we all agree it's such a bore part. And that's where I think the No Means No kind of pokes through. There's a good section in here. I wish, I don't know, I'd be cool to hear it because I write down as I'm listening, but it was.
Oh yeah, I can hear that part. Love that
it's
part.
amazeballs. I can't hear it, so I would love to because I'd probably be able to say a bit more on it, but it's great. It's like a little No Means No.
That's probably the part. That's probably the part I'll put in as the little opening.
Oh well,
teaser.
yeah, do it because it's a little bit of it's some No Means No-y stuff, and Total Crunch punk fun song, love it.
Nice. Yeah,
Yep.
I agree with a lot of that. So, I mean, this is a classic John song off this album, and I mean, it's a very very John song, but it's a very very No Means No-ish John song, right? Like you talked about that, Strangey, that this is it has some Hanson DNA in it, but it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
super lean into it. I feel like this really does have this is a No Means No song, and it's at its heart. And I love that. You know, John does that a lot. I mean, we just talked about Slowly Melting not too long ago. That's a John song, and
Right. Right.
that's
Right.
of 1 billion% No Means No. But this is also
Mm-hmm.
really of a piece of this album. This really feels sometimes, you know, some people have commented on maybe, and I think I'm particularly guilty of this, that I sound a little bit down on the Hanson brothers. Put it on record. I fucking love them. I think they're fucking great. They're just, it's steak and peanut butter to me. Like I don't like the two to mix very much. I like them separate. And I don't like Hanson's on my No Means No because they're not the same. And sometimes when they
You got your peanut butter on my chocolate.
exactly, well, I don't want to say peanut butter and chocolate because I actually do like those things
No,
together.
no,
So I've
I
had
know.
to alter the
I
metaphor,
know.
right? I don't want peanut butter on my
Peanut
steak.
butter and steak.
It would be shitty.
I think in reference to Jello Biafra and No Means No earlier, I've said gravy on the pancakes.
Gravy on the pancakes,
Right.
same thing, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Although that sounds a little better than peanut butter on steak. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll have to
Gravy
try
on
that.
biscuits. I
I-
guess it's not
I-
that different.
But there's other John songs or songs like, you know, I was not so keen on Solo and some of these other ones. They take me out of the album flow a little bit more, and they feel a little bit more, less of the album. This one really feels like part of Worldhood. It is a big part of the DNA of this album for me, and I really think it's great.
It chugs, man. It chugs.
It does. To dig into it a little bit, we all three of us, but Matthew and I had this kind of back and forth. I was going on the internet about the opening lines, the opening lyrics, which I'm not going to try to repeat, but the opening lyrics were all over the internet. What I was reading, I'm like, that's not fucking right. First of all, it was not what I hear or not what I've routinely heard the opening lyrics to be. And I'm like, this is fucking weird. That's not what it is. Turns out he went and got the liner notes. Those are the fucking words. And the way John does it, I can't tell if it's genius or if I hate it. I really don't know. It's weird as fuck. And it's great for that, right? Like it breaks all the rules of how you should break up lines and lyrics.
Yeah.
It's really weird, but I think it's kind of genius in a way.
It includes yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, it's very fucking interesting. This song, so No Means No has all sorts of levels they'll go after lyrically. They have a lot of really great incisive songs about psychology, right? That hit us on the realm of psychology. And I think this is one of their songs that cuts in at that level. It's it's not that hard to parse out what it's about, or at least in one sense. This notion of repression, this notion of tucking away things we don't want to see, this notion of taking advantage of others, of taking advantage of love for our own needs and our own kind of selfish needs, and just tucking away the bad consequences of that. And I think it does a really good job of sort of talking about that on a psychological level. It's really interesting. And I think, I don't know if John or Rob wrote the lyrics. I'm assuming it's John, because I feel like, I don't know this for sure. Maybe someday we'll find out. But when he sings the lyrics, I often assume he's the one who's written them. I think he did a great job with them. And they're delivered very strangely. But really interestingly, I've definitely come around to thinking it was fucking hot garbage when I saw those lyrics on the internet, to going, no, actually, that's pretty interesting. And not just the words themselves, but how he syncopates them. The way that he delivers them is
syncopation.
Is kind of nuts.
Really, really, really good at that.
Yes, of course, right? So
When
yeah,
he plays the
why.
drums
and good point. Like
Yeah.
he's using his vocals in the same way he does his drums. It is not usual.
Right.
It's fucking weird as hell. And
It's
I think
hot.
I'm
It's
here
hot.
for it. And that music break, give me a fucking break. That's fucking hot as hell. That music
Yep.
break in this, I love it. I love it.
Yep.
So there's my take from the sandwich. What do you think, Matthew?
Yeah, it's all John all the time
Sandwich.
for sure. Yeah, very very Hanson-y, and yeah, I have to also address that I love the Hansons, but there's more Hansons in No Means No than the other way around. And so if you feel like Hansons, you can go listen to the Hansons. So the more sort of straight ahead No Means No songs that sort of remind me of the Hansons tend not to be the ones that interest me quite as much. That's all. It's not that I dislike the Hansons or want to diss them. It's just that yeah, there's more of that to go listen to if you want to. Yeah, interestingly, this is a little diagonal connection. I don't know if you guys noticed that there's actually this exact same line in Rise and in Tuck It Away. Won't
Get
talk
out,
it
get out
anymore.
of here. What are you
Don't
talking
talk about it anymore. Almost word for word there.
Nice. I
He
did
says
not
that?
notice that.
Don't talk about it anymore?
Which is kind of
Don't talk
interesting
about it anymore. Yeah, that's fucking great.
because they're kind of similar.
Oh.
You know, the song is about men and women, and you know things get boring. Some things get kind of hackneyed, and you stop looking for love. You just do your thing. You just tuck
Hook
it
in the
away.
nub.
Yeah,
Nice.
I love the how the snare and the kick drum switch spots in a couple of lines, so it kind of backs up. It's makes me want to move. It's a very dancey kind of song.
Yeah.
Makes you want to do a little boogie and everything like that. But yeah, love falls to sex. It gets old, so you don't really look for it after your one night stands and everything like that. Yeah, the breakdown is so much fun. It is very, very Hansensy to me, but Jesus Christ, Rob, that run down the fretboard, it's like,
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
man. Yeah, I almost worry about he's gonna hurt himself doing that. It's like, yeah, that's
He
what
ripped,
it
his,
is.
he ripped his voice on Rise and his fingers on Tuck It Away.
Yeah, yeah, simpler song, simpler idea. And just we don't address this idea that just everyone's just out fucking each other and that's good enough, and maybe it's not. Stop looking for love. Yeah,
Right. Nice. All right.
Wow.
Well, again, a pairing that puts it up against a song that's really, really, really fucking different. So let's dive into I Can't Stop Talking by Dance of the Headless Bourgeoisie. But before we do, let's stop talking for a second and listen to a bit of this song.
I can't stop talking. There is no stopping the brain that keeps talking. I know it's not healthy. I know it's not true. I don't even know who I'm talking to. But I can't stop talking. I've got to stop talking all night and all day. I have something to say. I go on and on. No, I know it's not true. I've got to stop talking. I'm not talking to you.
All right, Michelle, regale me.
I'm writing another word because I just realized I should have put it in there because it explains something. Anyways, okay. You guys have mentioned it before, but this one's kind of jiggy. Like they're getting jiggy with it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just kind of just a little horsey ride. And I just this one word I just wrote was hiccupy. Because
okay.
Yeah.
there's this
Yeah,
but when they say I can't stop talking, I almost hear like somebody's singing up an octave higher, but I just think it's probably just like a vocal overtone or something like that. Anyways, it's a pretty straightforward piece for them, but dosed up with good with a good amount of plenty. I can't read for shit, but it's dosed up with plenty of vocal inflections by Rob that make it juicy to listen to. I love John's on and on and on and on. I think that's John singing
I think
on
so.
and on and on
Yeah.
and on bit. And everything in the chorus part is very catchy. Rob's bass tone is very farty, which I always like. The ending is pretty happily grandiose and positive sounding, like the end credits of a movie. I think this would sound good at the end of the movie when they're rolling the credits. Great piece.
Nice.
That's it.
Sweet. So I'm going to start with a little live anecdote first on this. When we saw them in New York, I don't think it was a tour we saw them on, Michelle. I think it was either one before. I think it was the one before that when they
Here
came
comes
out.
another anecdote.
Exactly. Nice. Good pull. Good pull. You got me. And I'd seen them the night before, and Rob had a great bit of banter where he would lead into this song, kind of talking about like, there's times when you're just blah, 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 going into his Grandpa Rob speech. It was great. And the second night I saw them, I was totally drunk and high. And as he was saying that, I kept going. I was in the front, of course, right up at the bottom of the stage, looking up at him, getting the sweat dripped all over me. And I kept going, don't stop talking. Don't stop talking.
Oh, you were that guy.
Yeah, I was. And he looked down at me and went, oh, I see. Yes, this young man has read the libretto. And I was just like, oh,
Nice.
damn it.
That's
like,
awesome.
oh, that's the way to deal with a heckler. You just throw a literate reference at him. So anyway, it was actually a really positive moment. Like no one else could really hear me. I wasn't being really an asshole. And he was kind of smiling and kind of like, it was like a wink, wink. Anyway, it's
And
a
he
nice
said
moment.
something fucking cool. That's great.
It was cool as shit. So anyway, I loved it. It's the only time
Should make a shirt that says that.
The only time Rob has ever actually talked directly to me was at that moment.
Wow.
So I love this song. I fucking adore this song. I think it's the shit. I love it. A lot of the reason is because I really share Rob's deep, deep curiosity about the nature of human consciousness. And I think this song is you could read it pretty surface level, but I think it's actually pretty fucking profound about when you really dig into it, and has some beautiful turns of phrase and is a really great exploration about the nature of the mind. I talked before about Tuck It Away, where they have these songs that deal on the psychological level, which can be very incisive. And then there's these songs where Rob says, no, fuck that. I want to talk about the nature of mind itself. And I'm going straight for just the nature of what it means to be a thinking person on this planet. What's that fucking mystery? And he really goes for it in this song. And I think it's fucking amazing. And that the way, you talked about the hiccupy nature, the way that riff goes, it is exactly like that endless loop of thought that just keeps going and going and going and going. And it just never fucking ends. It's this loop of thought that just never stops. So again, it's what I fucking love about them. This is one of their fractal songs where every part of it is part of the meaning of the song, up to and including at that end, which I'll talk about in a little bit more about how much I love it, when they have those breaks and it stops and it's like, I stopped thought for a minute. Oh no, you didn't. Here it comes back. And you never fully get one of those pauses. They give you these breaks. He's trying to stop his thinking, but you can't. It's going to come roaring back in. So all of that is right on point for the theme. And these lines, here's a couple, some of my favorites. I'm just going to I don't normally do this, but I'm going to read out a few of these that I just fucking love. It's sort of in the middle. He says, the truth around my tongue is curled, a chain of words that binds the world. In a fever, all I see is captured in my commentary.
Damn, he's a poet.
That is fucking genius. It's fucking genius. And it really gets to the nature. Something I really agree with. I think Rob hints at this a lot, that language is one of our biggest gifts and it's one of our biggest prisons. That it both is a beautiful tool for expressing our experience, and it also completely limits what we're able to describe. And he talks there about how the world is defined by these fucking words that just never stop. And that's it. And that's all we have. And I just love that. And then I think he sums up his thesis with this when he has the stanza of, if I'm the talker, here's the thing, just who the hell is listening? And if I am not tongue but ears, then whose voice is it that I hear? He's really asking the most fundamental question of, what the fuck am I? What's my nature? If I'm not this constant talking, which is not me, he externalizes it. It's somebody else in his head. It's him, but it's just this voice that never fucking stops. Then who's listening? Who is that? What is that nature? And he just says it so beautifully, and the way he delivers it is so beautiful. It's a fucking masterwork. The way he deals with this and the tone and that he's saying everything with it. It's fucking genius. And it's right in line with one of my main interests in life. This question is one of my main interests. So I've always adored this song, and I'm super glad that we get to talk about it, because I fucking love it. And that goddamn beat drop at the end, holy fuck, I just love it. I love it when No Means No does that, when they give you those I mean, it's totally stereotypical, but they just get real quiet and they just give you a little bit more and a little bit more. And I don't know if either of you guys have any memories of seeing this live, but I remember seeing this live pretty much on many of the tours I saw, and shit went nuts when this went out. All the fans knew what was going to happen. You'd all look at each
Right.
other and start bouncing up and down a little bit, get shit-eating grins, look around at each other until that fucking beat fully dropped and the hands were in the air. You're looking around grinning like a fucking idiot to everybody, happy as fuck that they dropped that beat on you. And it was just joyous, and I just feel joy every time I hear
God,
the
I
song.
feel like I'm at
I
a
just love
concert
it.
right now.
I just
Because
love
I
it.
know what you're talking about.
Love this song.
They
So,
have those questions a lot. Like, can anybody hear me? Do you know what I'm talking about? We've talked about that with some of their
Yeah.
songs. I can't name them right now, but what you
It's-
explained with this one is like
it's
they
a
off-
huge
they're-
thread.
and-
It's a huge thread.
Yeah, but they're not. But they're humble about it, and they're not thinking they know the answer. They're asking out. Like,
No,
what's
they're
the answer?
Rob is really an expert at deepening the question. He doesn't provide answers, and that's what real thinkers
Right.
fucking do. I think they make
Right,
better
they-
questions. They deepen the questions. They don't try to give you an answer. People who give you an answer, fuck that.
Yeah,
That doesn't mean
right,
anything.
right,
But
exactly.
help me to ask the question better. Help me to hear how you struggle with the question. That's fucking art, and this is fucking art. So anyway, end of rant. Sorry, I went on for a long time, but I
No way.
love this song. So Matthew, you're up.
Sprechgesang.
What the hell was that?
I was gonna say that word. God damn it.
What? Wait, what was that?
Nice.
The fuck is that? What is this?
It's the German word. Listen.
Sprechgesang.
Oh, oh, it's the talk singing.
The talk singing, the chanting.
Yeah.
I thought that was some alarm for some
Perfect
something
example of it.
in your
Perfect
household.
example of it.
I can't pronounce it properly. Our German listeners would probably be more amused if I
Sprankgesang.
tried, but I'm not gonna.
Sprankgesang.
So yeah, a song about the monkey mind, which you have referred to in the past, Jordan, about that constant, it's that bouncy carousel of your mind that just you can't get off of. This has my favorite meter. It's how my mind works most of the time. This is in iambic tetrameter.
Whoa.
What's up, Michelle?
Yeah. The truth
The
around
hell?
my tongue is curled. The chain of words that binds the world.
Yeah.
Inner fever, all I see. Yeah. Tetrameter.
There once was a man from Nantucket.
Wrong. No. It's actually
Oh
the
no, I'm just
same
kidding.
as
I'm
that's
just kidding. No,
triameter.
I'm just kidding.
it's the night before Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let me get
You
into
and
my.
your
I have my
brains, both of
incredibly
yous.
bad. Well, that's kind of what this song is about, I think. And
Yeah. Yeah.
a very good friend of mine and listener called me, trying to pump me up actually, because I was feeling like I was annoying myself listening to these episodes. But unapologetically intellectual, and I guess that's kind of. Me in a nutshell, like that through my life, sometimes it is a bit of a defense mechanism, but I'm not trying to show off and I'm not trying to intimidate anybody. I'm just super curious or super nervous. And that is what kind of the song is about. And it kind of reminds me of a song by a band called called Educated Idiot. It's about, I know how an engine works. I don't know how to drive. I know where Old Zealand is, but I can't tell my left foot from my right. This voice that's constantly going in your head, and like what's it for? And the middle I've certainly felt guilty of it, where I know this, and how dare you contradict this knowledge that I have, and cram these words back down your throat, like that defensiveness of this is what you got, this is the little voice, I need to defend the voice is telling me that this is what it is. And other perspectives are not welcome because this is the correct one. This is the I love the bridge and the dissonant guitar, because it's they introduce kind of dissonant and a little bit off-putting, not off-putting, but just like little elements that don't quite fit with that bouncy voice, that bouncy bass line that goes through the whole thing. So I never heard the silence of that final word. I love that it's whispered, and cram those words back down your throat is snarled. And then
Rob.
Yeah, I love his oh. That's kind of like what you're talking about. Yeah, raise the roof kind of shit. But yeah, Rob. I think this is around when he started to sort of change, and I can imagine. I didn't know Rob. I've had conversations with him in the past, but I can imagine with all what he read and everything like that, that maybe he felt like that guy. Maybe he felt like the guy who knows, and maybe he felt like the guy who always needs to talk about philosophy and all that kind of shit. And right around the time when this is when he developed his interest in Buddhism. You know, what is this voice? Is that really
right,
me?
right.
Maybe I should just shut the fuck up. And you know, you wouldn't know this from the podcast, but I'm about the age that Rob would have been when he wrote this and recorded it, and you wouldn't know from the podcast. But yeah, I'm learning at this age to shut the fuck up sometimes.
No, please don't.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I love
I
the
know what you
John.
mean,
Like,
though. I know
it's
what you
on and on and on and on. That sort of
Oh, no.
exasperated, tedious kind of sound. Yeah. Anyway, the breakdown. I love how it gets slow and quiet. It sounds like it's going to stop and then just starts up again, just like your brain. It's like fucking stop, and then the coda is a lot louder. Yeah, it starts and stops, but not in the same way. It's a little bit hard to predict where it's going to start and where it's going to stop, and is it going to stop? And then it goes into the rape.
Right.
Just
Oh,
the-
yeah, right.
the
Really
relentless
directly.
bass line,
Really
yeah.
directly.
Yeah, it's one of those
a
ones where there's
great
no
1-2 punch.
Yeah, definitely. It's you sort of lose something by listening to it on MP3 or whatever, where there's no continuity into the next song, because that's one of the ones that really benefits from it. And these songs are certainly linked together. Their tentacles are wrapped around each other's throats. I love that there's keys at the start too. I didn't even notice until I listened to it. Oddly enough, like I had it like streaming to my stereo, couldn't hear it or didn't really notice it, and the streaming thingity stopped working, and it came out of my tinny phone speaker. I'm like, oh, those are keys. And I listened more carefully, and there's keys. Oh, it's kind of cool.
Played by John, I'm sure.
Probably.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
one last thing that I noticed, which is really, really cool. I don't know. It's overall, it's a song about a guy coming to terms with maybe this voice. I can deal with it, but it's not going to stop. I just need to learn to deal with the fact that it's not going to stop. But in the coda at the end, there's this one little bass fart that's off key in a weird spot. And it's like, beep,
Oh.
beep.
Well, I gotta go look for that.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, and I think it's just that dissonant little thing, that spot of urine on your tie, that fly in the
How do you
ointment. It's
get
just that
urine
one,
on your tie?
I don't know, but sometimes
don't
there
ask.
is urine on your tie. Anyway, yeah, that little dissonant element that starts being introduced in the flow of your clacking parrot's beak. It's like, okay, maybe this is a little broken. Maybe it doesn't mean anything. Maybe it's just noise.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe
I
it
think you're
needs to
spot
be
on too.
Oiled or perhaps turned off.
Well, and I do think he points the way to that. I mean, in terms of, like, you talked about his interest in Buddhism, it really is. There's a huge strain, and it's sort of like an open secret that one of the practices is really coming in touch with the listener, of really realizing how profound that is, to understand that the pure witness inside oneself is something to seat oneself in, instead of that endless loop. And Rob does such a great job of alluding to that, not answering it, not signposting it too much, but really alluding to it. Yeah, I think all that's spot on, man.
Yeah. On an extremely personal level as well. Like, I don't know whether I mentioned on the podcast before that I'm a trained speech and language pathologist. I have a master's degree in speech and communication disorders and that sort of stuff. And I've pretty much decided not to be one anymore. And I think, yeah, this song is sort of the core of it, really. Like, you know, trying to help people who don't communicate very well to communicate more fluently and everything like that. And like, maybe I'm needing to learn how to communicate less. And maybe who am I to get people talking more? Does there need to be more talking in the world?
And
Anyway.
and here we are doing a fucking podcast. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
On and on and
accomplished.
on and on.
exactly.
Let's speak and speak and speak and speak. Speak and
Oh,
speak and
man.
speak and speak. Speak and
Yep.
speak and speak.
we do a pretty good job of that. It should be our theme song.
How about that?
All right. Well, I
Jeez.
have a have more unanimity, but I don't know. Michelle, let's vote for these two. Very
Oh
different
God,
songs.
I gotta tell you something. I circled my answer, and now I don't like it. I
Do
don't
what
like my
you
answer.
want. Do what you're gonna say, for real. However you're gonna vote.
But can I change my mind?
Do it. Say it. You don't have to stick with your answer.
We don't know what your mind was made up.
I don't know what your mind was. Yeah, it could be.
All right,
Whatever your heart
I'm
is.
gonna stick with
And
my
even so.
answer, but I'm gonna stick with my answer just because that's what I'm gonna do. But just fascinating conversation about the other. I'm tucking it.
All right, tuck it away. Well, this should be interesting. My vote is, I think, probably pretty obvious for
Yeah.
I Can't Stop Talking. And for me, it's a 20 football field difference, I think, probably between these songs. So there's not even a little bit of doubt, which leaves us with a cliffhanger. Matthew, you get the deciding vote. I love these moments.
Yeah, for a long time, I definitely would have gone for Tuck It Away just because it's so much fun, makes me want to move and everything like that. But actually, I listened to I Can't Stop Talking. It used to kind of annoy me. There's a lot of talking, I guess, and I couldn't follow the lyrics, and maybe I wasn't in a mood to really learn them and listen to them. And
Sorry.
Jordan just about stopped talking there. Yeah. Anyway, a friend who unfortunately is not a listener for various technical reasons, but another Jordon, in fact, this is his favorite No Means No song, and the fact that he loved it so much made me go back and listen to it and examine the lyrics and how clever and introspective they actually are. And yeah, I got to vote for Can't Stop Talking. Can't stop talking about Can't Stop Talking.
Woo!
Right. Nope.
All right,
I
baby.
love that this went through.
I love that it wasn't unanimous, though. It's always more interesting. Gave us a little drama.
Yeah.
And they're both bangers. I'm no shame on Tuck It Away. That's a banger.
They are bangers.
Oh, I
They're
wanted to bring up
bangers.
something about Tuck It Away too that I've never really. I don't know how I never made this connection, but one of the things being tucked away, of course, is a particular piece of anatomy. I would say. And I
Is this
never.
back
another
in your
penis
pants.
song?
Yeah,
Is
but
this a penis
but
song
listen,
too?
listen
Are
to
these
this.
all about
Listen to this.
penises?
No, listen to this. The big hero of mine is Robin Williams. And an old Robin Williams routine, he used to always talk about shaking hands with Mr. Happy.
That's right. That's right. Which
Mr.
is
Happy was the name of Robin Williams' wee wee.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tuck away, Mr. Happy, back in your pants.
So
everybody.
Mr. Wrong is Rob's name for his pee-pee?
Oh no!
You're the one who would know,
Is it?
Mrs. Rockin' Chair.
That's right, because we were out on the porch in the rocking chair.
I am tucking
after-
away the last
after
few
we
minutes of this
played,
conversation.
Okay.
I'm doing well
Well-
after we had some sex. I know, I shouldn't have said that. I just
Well,
I love
let's
Rob.
insert tab A into slot B and adjourn to Andy's corrections. So our lovely listener and muse, Andy Kerr, has sent us some interesting comments, and this kind of goes back a couple episodes because that's the way we roll. All right, so I'm just gonna read this on out. Okay, here's some more nonsense for y'all. Love Thang, as Matthew rather astutely pointed out, Love Thang is indeed a musical take on the attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan by John Hinckley in 1981, spurred on by Hinckley's obsession with Jodie Foster at the time. In retrospect, it seems quite crude, lyrically speaking, but I kind of like that about it. I called it Love Thang, but it likely started life as Love Thing. No idea why I would have changed it. And speaking the word thing, I tried to use it in a few different ways in the song. For example, the idea of love as a kind of physical object, but also sarcastically in a sort of hippiest way. You know, it's a love thing, man. Use it
You don't
like
understand.
I really have a thing for him, as well, more literally, the thing being Hinckley's gun, or worse. Real love is scary. Not much to say about the music, but looking back on it now, the break in the middle foreshadows the anti-solo in Two Lips, a sort of conceptual ode to minimalism with an annoying single note and beat on the offbeat, which goes on interminably until you want to pull your hair out. Live, this was always tricky because naturally your brain, after a few bars, puts the offbeat on the onbeat. So when John finally came back in with the rest of the rhythm, we really had to concentrate. Otherwise, everything went bass-ackwards.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, and for you time signature freaks, the majority of the song is in 6/4. All
Hey,
right.
hey.
Joy. And speaking of offbeats, right. This song was released long after I was in the band, but it had its roots during the 0+2=1 era, as I believe you mentioned. I can imagine that almost everyone who hears it gets the first beat wrong. The whole song's in 4/4, and the very first note/beat in the first part falls on the second eighth note. If you can grasp that in your head, not an easy task, it should be said, then you will hear how the song was meant to be heard. Okay, Wormies.
Will you read that again? Will you read that part again for the thing?
Oh, I think
The
should wait for what? So you can try to.
No, I want to know about his eighth note thing. I want to just read that again.
Okay, I think I'll just I'll go on to the Wormies bit, and you can rewind this and listen to it and think about it later. Unless,
Don't shoot.
or do you want to try and think about this and make comments on it?
No, I just think it's interesting and people want to hear it. No,
Michelle,
hey.
we'll talk about it after he finishes because I want to talk about it too. But I remember what he said, so we'll talk about it.
Okay,
All right.
yeah. I'm just not sure where you want me to.
I'm sorry.
Reread from.
No, just the eighth note thing.
We'll pick
I'm
it back
intrigued.
up after.
I'm intrigued.
Okay, Wormies. I think I went to Richard's Records in Victoria and bought this when it came out. I used to have a copy that Rob autographed, long lost, alas, with Andy, thanks for the $2. Love, Rob. I seem to remember that Rob borrowed a couple dollars for me for something that I can't remember what. Haha. Now it's dark, very Hansons-ish. A tribute to Blue Velvet by Rob with a bunch of memorable quotes from the movie. I was never a big fan of this one, it has to be said. To my ears, it sounded like it's continuously on the verge of breaking out, but never quite does. A change of key or bridge in the middle may have helped. I don't know. I don't think it was ever really a contender for the 0+2=1 album. It was recorded only as a demo for the record, but not included in the bunch of tracks we decided to lay down at Profile Studios.
Nice. That Blue Velvet thing was a good bit of trivia. I love that.
Yeah, totally.
That's an awesome movie. Holy shit.
Okay, let me just read this bit again. I just wanted to pull my head out of my ass so that I could think about it too when reading it again, because I'm reading but not understanding right now. So, okay.
No, I hope it's all right that I ask. I'm
of course.
Shit.
I just didn't want to get lost.
All right, I'm sorry. Now you remember.
It's 33 degrees in here, so not thinking all that clearly. Right, so I can imagine that almost everyone who hears it gets the first beat wrong. The whole song is in 4/4, and the very first note/beat in the first bar falls on the second eighth note.
Yeah,
if you can grab that.
It's boom, joy, right? It's not joy, it's joy, right? It's starting on the second eighth note. So that's and it does make you hear the song differently. And I think it comes out much more in that in the Fish Tank version when they're doing the sort of ska version of it a bit. They really play that up more than on the Worldhood. And it's also really like that on the 0+2=1.5, just instrumental version of it. It's really that eighth note.
So I put the eighth note. I remember saying that they dropped the last eighth note, but what happened? I was wrong. They just there was the eighth note rest, then they started.
Right. Yeah.
So I had the eighth note on the total wrong end of the phrase.
But this is the challenge for every listener. Go back and listen to that song.
See, that's hot shit.
And listen to the 3 different versions, actually, if you can find them, and listen to it that way. I think it is interesting how shit can change. I'd actually to reflect back to "I Can't Stop Talking." That song fucks with me in this way too. Like the way that the guitar, when it's just the bass coming in and then the guitar comes in, the way those rhythms play off each other. My brain switches back and forth in how it hears it, and I can kind of hear it in 2 different ways. I love it when they do shit like that. These guys are masters. Yep. Anyway, well, we made it.
Jeez.
We got 2 more songs. Tuck It Away's been tucked away, and I Can't Stop Talking apparently won't stop for a while. And I'm Doing Well's not doing so well, and Rise has risen. Oh, shit. I don't know where all that came from, but there you go. Dad jokes, right on brand.
It's kind of like urine on your tie.
Exactly. Oh, I love that. I'm bringing that back. So thank you, everybody, for joining in. This was another fun one. It was good to get in the rhythm of this again. It's good to be with these 2 nerds. Just FYI, recording this is one of the highlights of my week. These 2 folks are just fucking amazing. And how fortunate are we to get to geek out about this band? And how fortunate are we that there's so many of you, more every day, who apparently want to fucking listen to us talk about it. So thank you for listening.
Thank you.
absolutely would not keep doing this if it weren't for you. And if you want to talk at us, talk with us, there's some places you can do that. You can go to there's kind of two Facebook groups. There's the original one, No Means No, So Right We're Wrong Facebook group, which is just a general no means no. Great fucking group full of great people. But we've made our own little Facebook group, not to replace it, but just so that we don't clog up that one with all of our own bullshit. So you can feel free to join that one. We'd love to have you there. We're on Instagram at No Means Nothing, and also Twitter at No Means Nothing. Yeah, you know, or email us like we said on the twits. Email us like we said. We'd love to hear your shit.
Yeah, your interest and participation is so very appreciated and surprising to us. So.
Yeah, means the world. Means
Yeah.
the world. Any last words, everybody? All right. Well, then.
Breckenhauser.
Yeah. Dear listener, I just want to ask you if you hand me up the cup, I'll read from the book. Together we'll all sing.
Sprechgesang.